y'all, welcome or welcome back to my channel. Today we've got the mid-year book tag, and of course I was going to do this because I've been talking about how I wanted to do tags. I hope tags come back, and of course everyone is doing this tag, so I would like to do the tag. And so here we are doing the mid-year book tag. The original creators of the tag and the questions will be down below in the description, so if you want to do it, although at this point in the game I assume most people have done it, but if you haven't and you want to do it, tag your it, please do it. I love to see everyone's responses. So let's get into the questions. First question is the best book I've read so far in 2024. And I just want to let you guys know that I have 8 5-star reads. Like, who am I? Has this ever happened? I don't know. I would say that for me, one of the best books that I read this year was A Love Song for Ricky Wilde. It was something I read at the start of the year. I had a really good time, and I didn't expect to feel all of the feelings that I had, but such an unexpected pleasure. And then I guess another one would be A Game of Thrones, which is the first in a Song of Ice and Fire series by George R.R. Martin. That was a reread for me, which also an unexpected thing. You guys know I don't do rereads. Like, it's just not a thing that I do here. And so those would be the best I've read so far. I mean, I've read a lot of good things this year. I've really been enjoying my reading year, but if I had to pick some, that would be it. Question 2 is the best sequel I've read so far in 2024. And I've got to be honest, I've been either reading a lot of standalones or a lot of first in series, but not a lot of sequels. I mean, I guess I've continued on with some manga, so like Spy Family I'm really enjoying, The Promised Neverland I'm really enjoying, but other than that, than like the manga sequels, I don't know her, which is terrible. I need to continue on. I do have plans to read some sequels in July, so hopefully that answer will change by the end of the year. New release that you haven't read yet but you want to, and for me that's gonna be Blood at the Root by Ladarian Williams. I saw this last year and I was just like, okay, HBCU, I think this is Root Magic. I mean, it's called Blood at the Root, and I'm hoping that this is everything that I want it to be. And so I haven't read it yet. I've heard a lot of things about it, some good, some bad, not really bad, but you know, it's kind of like a mixed bag. I haven't heard anyone say like they hate it, but I've heard people love it. I've heard people go like, oh, it's okay. So I'm curious to find out for myself. I actually do have plans to read it this month. A lot of things I'm reading this month. Apparently July is, I guess, looking like my catch-up month. So that's where we're at. My most anticipated release for the second half of the year, and I've got 2. The first one is The Seventh Veil of Salome by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. I have an arc for it. It comes out in August. I'm excited because, as you know, if you are not new here, I love Sylvia Moreno Garcia. I am slowly making my way through all of her works. I think there's only been one that I was just like, but I'm hoping that I really enjoy this. I'm not really sure what it's about, because do I ever? I just saw it and I was like, immediately. Shout out to Aiden, who was like, hey, did you know it's on NetGalley? And I was just like, I did not know. And then I got it. I got approved for it. And then the second one that I'm anticipating also comes out at the end of August, I believe, and that is the third Amari and the Night Brothers book by B.B. Alston. I am excited to read that. I've got plans to buddy read it with Ray. We've been waiting for it since last year as well, and so we're gonna have a good time. Then the next question is biggest disappointment, and boy do I have a couple, a few if you will. First was Double Love, which was the first in the Sweet Valley High series, and I read this as a part of my reading my childhood favorites, and I just thought I would return and have a good time. Turns out Sweet Valley High is trash, and those sisters need help. I'll never return to Sweet Valley High, so that was a little disappointing. The second one that I was disappointed by was Fae Bound by Sarah El Arifi. I read that in a vlog where I was reading. I wanted to give authors that I didn't like the first book from a second chance, and I was so hoping that I would enjoy Fae Bound because, like, Fae, elves, I thought I would have a good time, and turns out I didn't. So maybe that's on me for having high expectations of someone I didn't like previously. There's a life lesson in there somewhere, I'm sure. And then another book that I was disappointed by was Wuthering Heights. People describe Wuthering Heights as a romance, and I would like to say that is a lie. The overall reading experience was not a disappointment because I read it with two friends, and we were just like, bruh, what is happening? Why is everyone actually terrible? And maybe that's on me for listening to you guys who told me that this was such a beautiful love story between Heathcliff and Catherine. Both those people need therapy, and probably to not be with anybody ever. This the most toxic relationship. And then for the next question is most surprising. I have two. I wish I could just give you one for each of these, but I can't. You know me, I'm not just going to be able to give you one answer. But the first one is Bloom by Delilah S. Dawson. I was surprised over and over again. It never stopped surprising me. I think about it almost daily. Weekly, definitely, but almost daily for sure. This was a buddy read I did with Steph. She completed it like that, and then she was like, you need to read it. And so I read it, and I was just like, and now I'm basically a Bloom pusher. If I feel like you might even have a modicum of enjoyment is not the word. Yeah, I just want everyone to read it. It was a mind-blowing time for sure. For sure. It's cloudy. It's about to rain or storm, and the lighting is really trying to mess with me, so just bear with me, but thank you. The second one is Assassin's Quest by Robin Hobb. It surprised me because at the beginning of my Robin Hobb journey, I was like, I'm not sure. Fitz was just the most pitiful character I've ever read from, and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to enjoy this. Turns out I care about what happens to Fitz, okay? I care about his happiness or lack thereof. And I got to the last book. I think I gave it like 4 stars, and I was just like, I have feelings. I feel for this boy. Man, teenager. I actually have no concept of anyone's age in this series. None. But it made me want to continue on reading Robin Hobb. So I actually plan on picking up Ship of Magic this month. I think I'm going to buddy read that with Jess. I say that here. I've said it to Jess. But will we actually do it? To be seen. Favorite new author? For me, that's going to be Tia Williams. I did a Tia Williams vlog at the beginning of the year. I had read 7 Days in June last year, and I liked it, but I wanted to see, like, would she be a new author for me? And so I read 3 books from her this year. I read The Perfect Find, The Accidental Diva, and A Love Song for Ricky Wilde. And I just fell in love with A Love Song for Ricky Wilde, as I mentioned earlier. And then The Perfect Find was so fun. I did not expect to enjoy it as much as I did. The Accidental Diva, we're not going to talk about it. But I just was like, yes, Tia Williams, she is the one for me. And so I'm definitely going to pick her up from now on. I'm excited to see whatever she comes out with next. And yeah, just had a really good time. Question 8 is newest fictional crush. I don't have one. I very rarely get book crushes on characters, so I don't really have one. So None. Question 9 is newest favorite character, and that is Misaki from Sword of Kaigen by M.L. Wang. She was just a badass mother. She like wasn't a character who was, I mean, she was like raised to be somebody's wife later, but before she became someone's wife, she was a badass. She continued to be a badass, and she was just like, I'm gonna go down fighting if I must. And I was like, yes, I love this kind of female character in books that are just like, take no prisoners. Like, no one's like, oh, maybe I shouldn't. No, she was just like, you got to die. And I like it. Number 10 is a book that made you cry. And so carrying on with Tia Williams, I'm going to say A Love Song for Ricky Wilde. I know that this has been my answer for like 3 of these, but I'm sorry, it did. Books don't make me cry. Ask my besties, okay? I am not a crier. It's just not a thing that I do, especially not with like book crying. With books, it just doesn't happen. But I was sobbing, full on sobbing. I had to get myself together before I could get on camera and talk to y'all because I was just crying so much. It was beautiful, and my heart, it grew 3 sizes that day. It did. So yeah, we're gonna have to go with A Love Song for Ricky Wilde. Now, if you don't cry when you read it, I'm not saying that you are, okay? So don't go into it thinking I'm gonna boo-hoo. It made me boo-hoo. What it does for you, that's a you thing. Question 11 is a book that made you happy, and I have to say, I have been doing a lot of rereading this year, and that has been truly making me happy. I reread The Babysitter's Club. I reread A Game of Thrones, and what was the second book? Whatever the second book is. But I was buddy reading those with a friend who had just been reading them for the first time, and I was having a really great time all over again. And then seeing, because I annotated it the first time, seeing my notes, and I was just like, yes, I still agree with all of those things. And so I'm definitely going to be continuing on with those series. I'm definitely going to be picking up more of the Babysitter's Club books just because it makes me feel happy. Also, I've been reading some really good middle grade this year. I read Cameron Battle and the Hidden Kingdoms earlier, The Witchlings for middle grade March, some other middle grade, I'm sure. Those have definitely been making me happy, and it's a great way to break up some of like the denser books that I've been reading, and I've just been having a really good time with those. So we had to change angles for these last 3 questions because we just did. Okay, anyway. So question 13 is, what is the most beautiful book that you've bought this year or been gifted? And I would have to say, I don't know. I can't like think off the top of my head of like the covers of things that I've gotten. The answer right now is none, I guess, but I'm sure there's definitely something. There's definitely something on my shelves right now. It's there somewhere that's just like, hey girl, you got me. And I did. I just don't remember you. Sorry. Question 14 is, what books do you need to get to by the end of the year? As so many people say, all of them. I need to get to all of them. I especially want to get to my unread books because I have a goal of getting down to 115 by the end of this year. I think my next bookends is coming out after this video, so you'll see where I'm at. But it's not at 115, so I definitely need to get to some more unread books on these shelves. And then I definitely need to get to some of the books on my Kindle. Like, I haven't touched a single book that I own on my Kindle. Kindle Unlimited, great. Things from the library on my Kindle, absolutely. But things that I bought? No. Me, no. So I'm trying to get to those. Obviously, I want to get to my anticipated releases, which are the Sylvia Moreno Garcia and the Amari book, which I will definitely be getting to. And, oh, you know what? You know what? I'm supposed to be participating in the Stormlight Archives read-along that Jess is hosting over on her Patreon, so go check that out if you're interested in it. And so I'm supposed to be starting that this month. Have I picked up Way of Kings? Nope. Will I? Probably. And so with that is my mid-year book tag. Again, if you haven't done it and you're like, I want to do it, please go ahead. The questions are below. Go for it. Thank you for joining me on this very chaotic, light-altering, angle-altered journey. And until next time, bye.